Alright, ladies and gentlemen, associated others, welcome back once again to A Quiet Tempest. We rejoin our intrepid adventurers in the crypt in the ruins of Alisk. We know that a lot of things have happened. You all found the magical scrying mural, for lack of a better word, the map table trap. You know... gotta get the name in front of me again, because I otherwise will say it wrong. Yeah, I don't remember his name. Kaldheim, I believe I put in. Yeah, we'll go Kaldheim. The presumably dwarf that you noticed is in the corner here in room 24. From scrying, though the scrying attempts were not good enough to get a good look, you do know that he is there. Since Jamie is unable to do that, and I don't have access to the full character sheet, that's fine. I will just be moving her token, and we'll be acting as if everything is fine with her. She will only exist if we need to have healing in some way, shape, or form, because, well, I don't know what else you can do aside from make magic pebbles and throw them. And summon wasps, but, you know. The combat encounters will be tailored with that in mind.
Okie
With that information given, Euro will notice that there is an archway to the south. Strixx will notice that there is a door. And Luqas, from where he is standing, will see that there is an archway to the north and to the east, leading to different rooms. Caradoc, I believe you were still entranced with the mural, trying to figure out who this little fucking dwarf was.
Pretty much.
And I had just found quite a big treasure trove. And
Yes.
divvied it up.
The everythings. The lots of gold. And I did let you know that I do not count gold in encumbrance because that's a shit move.
Just shit, no shit. So we know where this gnome's at or dwarf or whatever, but we don't know where this room's at.
Yeah, you know the general direction from where you are. You don't know exactly how to get there from where you are.
Okay, well, I guess my main thing is, out of these four doors that we do know where they're at, do we know which one we should take?
Caradoc suggested going south and east, because that's the general direction. So
Yeah.
Wherever we go, it would be south and east.
The big question would be if you would want to go east first or if you want to go south first.
Right.
Because you have options that lead you both ways. And seeing as how you have discovered a trap, it would make sense for all of you to be a bit more on guard. Because you found one trap.
Strix, can you sniff out traps?
I wouldn't say I'm able to sniff it out, but I definitely give it a try to find them.
Okay. I didn't know. Some rogues like have an actual ability to find traps, don't they?
It has been so long since I played a rogue.
Sniff them.
Well, I said that because you're a cat.
All right. I'm gonna examine the door.
Give me that investigation. The door appears to be locked. You do not notice anything that depicts it is trapped.
Okay. I'm going to attempt to unlock it.
Sleight of hand, please. Or if you have these tools, you may use those instead.
Dang.
The satisfying click of the lock goes through and echoes slightly through the hall.
Why can't Aethel get that kind of roll on his thieves tools?
Seriously.
This is some bullshit.
I call racism. Thieves' tools are racist. They support cats over gnomes.
It's just because those cats are inquisitive.
Y'all making fun of his no thumbs now, huh? Huh?
I do believe having those big ears tends to be quite the advantage.
I'm able to hear the lock mechanism a little bit better.
So the door would
I can
open.
almost fit in the lock.
You can push the door open and enter into room 18.
I'm going to push the door open and look inside.
Give me a perception. You notice that there is a stone dais in the southwest corner of the room, and your feline senses detect the smell of a pile of rotten bread in the northwest, though you don't exactly see where it's from where you're standing. You also see a strange, shadowy wisp in the corner directly in front of you.
So down here.
Yes.
I'll look back and whisper to everyone, we may have found an exit. And then I'll step inside.
I'll follow right behind.
Yeah. I'll head that way.
Did we rest before we came down here?
I'm pretty sure.
Yes, you had the effect of
Before
a
we
long...
entered, I believe so.
Yeah.
It looks like it. Everything's reset. I was just making sure the game didn't do it on its own.
No, yeah, you had the effect of a long rest before coming in here.
Okay.
Because you rested in between the cave and getting here, because otherwise y'all be just completely screwed.
Yeah.
And I'm all for getting you in tough situations, but I'm going to be fair about it.
Alright. Do I notice anything about the shadowy wisp in the corner change as I enter?
You notice that there are two strong, unpleasant odors. One is coming from up here, next to Caradoc, and Caradoc would clearly see that there is a loaf of rotting bread.
You're on the wrong layer, by the way, if you're pinging.
There.
There you go.
moving things and forgot to switch layers. My bad. Down here, near the wispy look, you see, or you smell, a stench of decaying flesh. Thanks for the look, Hezron.
I'm mostly okay.
Mostly.
I'm definitely gagging.
Dry heaving.
Strixx is fine.
I'd say Caradoc is going to be okay.
and
With
you
a
said
roll
there
like
was-
that, Caradoc is not only okay, but slightly hungry and confused as to why.
You said there was a dais down here?
Yes.
Mm. So besides the stench of the loaf, the wispy thing down here, and the dais, do I see anything else in the room?
A dimly lit chandelier above you in the center of the room. That is all.
Does it, is there anything about the room that makes it look like it might be, I don't know, like, have at one point been like a chapel or a throne room type thing, ballroom or something like that?
Give me a perception or insight, one of the two.
Yeah, I'm about as good at one as the other, so let's see.
From what you can discern by the shape and appearance of the dais, as well as the rather open nature and some appropriate pockmarking on the floor, you believe that this used to be an alchemist's lab.
We don't see no tables or nothing, though.
Any tables or shelving have been either removed or decayed. They're not there. No materials, just looks the remnants of experimentation.
Alright, I'm gonna go over and investigate the dais.
How would you like to investigate the dais?
Well, I want to see what's on top around, any markings on it.
Give me an investigation.
Oh, excuse me. Not bad.
The dais appears to have several rooms that you recognize. Your thieves' training is actually rather unique to this because these rooms seem to mimic thieves' cant while blending in with some form of spell and magic that you're not entirely familiar with. But your thought is this is somehow was an attempt to manipulate the Shadowfell to bringing a protection around these ruins. What exactly the type of protection that is still up for debate. However, I do need you to make another perception, please.
Okay.
Ooh.
Do either of those hit?
Yeah, both of those hit.
Oh.
That's like what, 36?
Euro, give me a perception, please.
Yep.
The wispy shadow coalesces for you, and you see this monstrous creature.
As you Strixx let out a big howl. Constitution save.
He's got a tongue on him.
Luqas, don't get any ideas.
It's a forked tongue, too. Hello, Lulu. And with that, roll for initiative, por favor.
Come on.
God damn, that was a really ridiculously good initiative for the paralyzed person and the shadow gas. You may be stuck where you're standing, but by God, you're ready to move.
Do you know much about Shadowfell?
Alright, so... Strixx, try to make another con save, please.
Ooh.
You are freed.
Alright.
I will narrate it as... Euro nudged you enough to get you to your senses. Yeah, he's using his phone for this, and he's working on that.
So yeah, that would have been the end of my turn because I have to repeat that at the end of my turn. So
Yes.
I can't do shit.
Or the Shadow Guest doesn't know that. He is instead going to come up to Euro, because, well, he thinks his paralysis is awesome. Does a 22 hit?
Yep, that's a hit.
These guys are just... I may have to hide these rolls, but... They're not nice. They shouldn't be this strong. And does a 14 hit? Awesome. So you get the 11 points for the first one, but you do not have to make the con save. For the slashing damage. Caradoc! What do you do?
I will bonus action Rage. Great Weapon Master. Cleolater is glowing with the Ancients. As I come up here and slash 1.
That is a hit.
That is 18. And slash 2. I forgot to actually, both of those were the same, but I forgot to actually say that this was reckless attack. But
I figured. You're a barbarian. They're going to be reckless attacks.
Crit.
That would be a crit. Doing not a whole lot of slashing damage because of it, but so that's another 19 to it.
Not the best crit, but 2 solid strikes. It is definitely looking worse for wear. Luqas.
I'm going to stay where I'm at and cast a guiding bolt.
That is just barely a hit.
Those with these double numbers.
I know, this is not very dynamic here.
13, and the next attack on it is at advantage automatically.
That won't be necessary. The guiding bolt pierces through the chest of the Shadowghast as it fizzles away into nothing but a pile of ashes. Yeah, I saw that, Aaron, but I think I'll let the rest
I
of
didn't
the
even
folks
gonna do anything yet.
dive in on that.
Euro's now pissed because he wasn't able to strike it.
Euro, give me a perception.
Healing word on Strixx. For 5.
Why won't y'all let me have any fun?
Because of the heightened alertness, you hear a click from the door to the east. I forgot which way was east and west, I'm sorry. And the door starts to creak open.
I did not want to investigate anymore. I'm gonna point over at the door and be like, "Hey, that door is opening, and I don't like it."
I'll move over in front of him, in front of the door.
Luqas, give me a perception. Congratulations, Luqas, you're the proud owner of another Shadowghast!
What? I'm going to take a defensive stance.
Are you going to alert anyone else to this?
Well, I figured they'd known when Hero pointed it out, but if they don't know, then I'm gonna. Hey! Pointing out the door.
And Euro, would you like to make an attack?
Yes. I am going to
Excuse me.
throw a dart at it.
Throw that dart. That is a hit. The dart makes a solid shot. Strixx!
Alright. Being as I'm not facing that way, but they yelled the door was opening. Going to turn around. see what it is and shoot at it. And fail.
Damn.
Yeah, that does not go well. The arrow hits the wall and shatters upon impact. You didn't use one of those unbreakable arrows, did you? Or was that this game? I forget. Anyway.
I don't think that's this game.
Okay, yeah, I think that's right. I think Calcris has those. Shadow. The arrow shatters.
Okay. Strixx is still recovering from getting his ass kicked.
And that one's dead, which leaves us with Caradoc.
Okay. Going to go right up next to Luqas. Again, great weapon master. I'm still raging. And reckless attack. That's a 17 to hit.
That will be a hit.
That will be, again, 17 points. Wow, it's just
18.
That's an 18.
18, sorry.
You are very consistent this morning.
Apparently. And again, with a natural 20, I am very consistent.
If this is a 19...
I'm going to absolutely poop a brick.
I'm going to see if your digital dice are rigged. Jesus Christ! Just for curiosity's sake, could you roll that damage for me one more time?
It is literally the same.
Yep.
No, you're getting 19.
Well, it's definitely a very solid hit.
Are you
And then
trying to imply that you would die?
No, it is still hanging on by a thread.
Then I'm going to back away and let Luqas have his turn at it.
Luqas, I need a Constitution save from you. You succeed. What would you like to do?
What?
You succeed the Constitution save.
Let's use Sacred Flame on it.
Wow. Wow. That is his highest stat, and that was what he rolled.
But, my God.
In amazing cleric fashion, you are taking these undead to task and destroying them. The flame bursts down from the ceiling, showering the Shadowghast in the holy light of Apollo. Though you do notice that the light is not as dim as it is, or is not as bright as it is normally, stifled somehow by the magics of the Shadowfell, it is enough to completely eviscerate and destroy the second Shadowghast.
Caradoc, still raging, is going to, I know this comes as a surprise, do something stupid and run into the room.
Give me a perception. Inarguably the most perceptive that Caradoc has ever been. He doesn't see any new any other monsters or anything.
Mhm.
But on the wall in front of him, scrawled in blood, you see the word or the phrase written out in common, "ran out of torches." Just beneath it, there is a shattered helmet that has been split in two. The rest of the body, or anything else with it, not to be seen. Beyond this, there is nothing much of note in the room. A few bookcases in disrepair. This looked to be some form of common room that just isn't quite common anymore.
Okay. Going to go further in. Breathing is slowing down a little bit as I sheathe Clear later. And I'm just looking around.
Alright. Would you like to do anything? Try to do anything further with the dais there, Strixx?
Strixx is more licking and nursing his wounds because he was hit pretty bad.
That's fair.
Cats.
There's 19 to you.
What is with everyone on the 19 today?
Strixx is feeling a lot better with that.
Can't argue with it.
So with that, yeah, I'm still quite curious with the dais. So there's nothing on top of it.
Just some residue of ashes and those runes around the outside of it. Beyond that, nothing of note.
Dirk wants to knock something off.
Make sure y'all's potions are in your pocket.
Strixx is going to poke at the runes.
As you poke at the runes, you notice nothing happens.
Okay. I'm gonna investigate this corner.
Give me that investigation. You see a small alcove where the shadow gas was hiding, but nothing else.
Yep, that's a wall.
Okay. Just making sure there wasn't an exit.
Yep. Your belief is that the shadowy wisp you saw was the remnants of the shadow gas's shadowy aura, but not the shadow gas itself when you first came in.
Okay.
Caradoc, with your knowledge of where things are, you believe the fastest route to where you scried Khazdim is through that door.
Yeah, I assumed I would. I'm going to call the cat in. And I'm going to say, looks as though there's a door here. I'm not really sure I want to open it myself.
Strixx gives a flick of his tail. All right, step aside.
Damn cats.
So does the door seem to have any sort of trap mechanism?
Give me an investigation. It does not appear that this door is trapped.
Does it appear to be locked?
Are you trying the handle?
Yes, I'm gonna try the handle.
As you go and reach for the handle, when your hand touches the door, it falls straight forward into the next room. It does not appear to be locked or attached to the wall anymore.
I look at Caradoc.
What'd
Did
you
you
do?
Did you hit the door?
Nay, lad, not this time.
Seems quite odd that the door just falls off its hinges.
That does seem like you're doing, Caradoc.
Nah, 'twas not me. May have just been afraid that I would hit it.
Just the door just sees Caradoc coming. Nope, fuck that.
So I'll peek into the other room.
Give me a perception into room 20. You notice an empty room.
No.
However, it does appear that there are recent footsteps leading in the southernmost archway to the east. The layer of dust that's been on the floor does not seem to be disturbed through this one at all.
So I'll call back to them. There's signs of life or unlife ahead.
I'll go get it.
Yep, let's go then. Where'd you see it, Strixx?
I'll point at the footprints going south.
I'll start following the footprint.
Yeah, I'll head that way.
You see before you the archway down a long hall that is dimly lit by torches. Hell, the lighting and everything in this place is still on after clearly a long time of no one really residing here is perplexing to say the least.
Are they magical?
From your detect magic spell that you cast earlier that should still be running, you do not notice any magic, but it is still confusing as to how these torches have lasted so long. As if something doesn't want them to go out.
Can I tell how old these footprints are? If they were like recent or like
Based upon
over a year
the
old.
based upon the dust and everything around it, they look fairly recently disturbed, within the last few days.
Okay. I'll convey to everybody else that these are fresh. I don't think it's from today, but it is from within the last week.
So
And keep following the track.
Caradoc is continuing down this hole then.
Caradoc, give me a perception.
Well, he's getting more and more perceptive as the day wears on.
And let me double check something first before I say something. I think I know the answer, I just want to be sure I am right.
Caradoc finds a pit trap.
Give me a dexterity saving throw, please, Caradoc.
Yep. There it is.
There it is.
Okay. I think I have this at advantage.
You do.
Okay.
What was that, danger sense?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that is good enough. Again, with the uncanny sense of danger, Caradoc manages to hear just in time him tripping another trap and deftly leaping out of the way before one of the walls slams shut right where he was.
Oh shit.
It slowly ratchets back, and you see the tile that you stepped on raise back into place.
Okay, I'll point that out to Luqas and say, "Didn't step there."
Probably not the wisest way to find traps, but it certainly seems to be effective.
It worked.
We have the rogue being careful, methodic. Then we have the barbarian. Fuck that.
Well, we had Strixx going in front to look for traps for about one room.
Two rooms.
Okay, 2 rooms. Alright, I'll step over the trap that he points out after he moves.
Are you going to mention it to anyone else in the party?
I'm gonna let them figure it out on their own. No, I'm gonna tell Strixx right behind me. And I imagine he'll daisy chain it back to Euro.
Actually, I'm dropping things.
So I'm going to investigate the trap because I'm curious.
Give me an
Curiosity
investigation.
kills the cat.
That's so true in this situation.
Give it to me at advantage since it was pointed out to you.
Okay.
Yep.
That
you
was
know it's a
not any
trap.
better. You see that, yes, that is a pressure plate. And there is some form of complicated mechanism that allows it to reset. But you don't know how.
Alright, so I'm not disabling that trap. Got it.
I mean, you could go with the Hulk smash version of trying to disable the trap, but I don't know if it'll make it better or worse, especially seeing as how currently Luqas is standing about where it would be.
Yeah, you wait till I get out of the hall first.
Well, if we need to make an expeditious exit, this is probably not going to be the way.
That's true.
Well, okay, hear me out. You see that there's only one trigger of this trap, and it's on the way in. if you all have to run out quick, if you're on the heels of each other, it is possible to use it as a way to fuck up the person you are running from, if that's necessary. And it may or may not be necessary.
It won't be triggered until you're already away from it.
Yes. So long as, like, the first 3 people intentionally avoid it and the last one steps on it,
It hits it.
you should be okay.
Gotcha. Let me see if I have something.
And since Caradoc and Luqas know what they're looking for, they would notice that there is no pressure plate on the other side.
So yeah, I'll tell Euro there's a pressure plate up ahead, and I don't know how to disable it, so be
Could you mark it?
mindful.
Use
I'll point it straight out to you.
Okay.
Does anybody have ink that they can put on it? I don't have like a Tyndall ink.
Strixx
Floor's back.
Strixx got ball bearings.
How indented is it?
Uh,
Like this pressure plate, is it like, does it have like, if he puts his ball bearings down on this pressure plate, will the pressure plate, because of the shape of it, keep them on just the plate, or will they spread out over several stones?
they'll roll.
Okay, never mind. Won't work.
I could take a foot of rope and tie a knot and then put it next to it.
That is less likely to move.
Yeah. Because I got rope too. Water skin rations.
Pretty sure if you point it out, everybody will be able to avoid it. Caradoc is looking at these 2 doors, trying to figure out which one
Does the
would
pressure plate take up the whole hallway?
It doesn't take up the whole hallway, no.
I'll take my dagger out and mark an X on the wall next to the pressure plate.
Very good.
That way
Caradoc,
everybody has a visual representation of where it's at, and they know to jump over it without somebody warning, just in case somebody forgets, because I probably will.
give me a insight.
whom?
Caradoc. So, Caradoc is mostly sure it's to the east door. However, part of him thinks it could be the south door, but he's pretty sure it's the east to get to the person that he was scrying. I'm assuming that's what you were wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, where the footprints lead.
The footprints disappear behind the east door.
Okay.
Kind of want to go east anyway then.
All right. I'm going to check the door for if it's locked or not.
And how are you doing such thing?
Just going to check the handle.
Door opens up, no problem.
Okay. And since it's already opened and whatever's in there knows that there's someone behind the door, I'm just going to waltz my happy kilted ass in there.
Give me a perception, please.
Yep. Getting better and better each time, one by one.
Slowly but surely. 12, 13, 14.
You see a humanoid creature with its back to you, draped in dark burlap rags, just huddling against the wall near what appears to be some form of full-length mirror.
Oh, he's looking at the mirror Varys head. All right. I'm going to very cautiously step forward just a little and uncharacteristically quiet, going to say, "You wouldn't happen to be Kasim, or whatever the fuck his name is?"
Give me an insight, please. And now give me a nature. Nature's the one that you get the shit roll on? Come on.
Yeah. Apparently.
Well, because you're in the Shadowfell, your knowledge of nature is not as good as it used to be. However, from where you're at, you notice that the face is misshapen, twisted. Gnarled. Anything that was dwarven about this has long since been burned away, as if ripped out by some hideous dark force. To the north, you start hearing a deep, ominous laughter. Upon hearing the name Kazim, the creature turns to you, straightens up, and you get the feeling of ill intent, though it is moving unnaturally slow, as if something else is binding it in some way. You could say it's a shadow of its former self. Hey, Ski. How is it going?
I will unsheath Cleo later
Doing
and
good.
stand ready to attack if I have to. Actually, how much of a feeling of ill will do I feel? Like it's about to attack me?
You feel that it wants to attack you, but almost as if something else is holding it back. Been good, Ski. It's been a good day so far.
Okay, I don't know what to do here.
When in doubt, you always have a dice roll or two.
Fuck, I knew that would happen. All right. Great Weapon Master. Recklessly attack. I'm not raging. It's a 13.
That does not hit.
Okay.
That one does.
16 slashing.
You make a solid strike upon it. I am quite confused that it's not 18, but anyway. That's just DM to players. You do feel that it is not as solid of a hit as it should be. Wait, you said you're raging?
No, I wasn't raging.
Okay, yeah.
I was not raging.
So, you feel that it's not as solid of a hit as it should be. The creature reels back a little bit. First thing I need you to do is roll initiative.
Jesus fuck.
What happened to your good initiative? Oh, that's okay. His initiative sucks too. And then the second thing I need Caradoc to do is to roll a Constitution save. So, that is what you just saved from.
Wow.
And you saved without any issue whatsoever. So, good on you. So the rest of you here, Caradoc, Cara doing what Caradoc, Cara does, and with good reason, attacking something in this room.
Which sometimes does not happen with good reason.
Very true. Strixx, what are you doing?
So Strixx is going to avoid the trap and go in the room to see what's going on.
You can clearly see the creature that Caradoc attacked, and you sense any semblance of good or humanity or dwarvenanity or whatever.
Dwarvenism.
That sounds more like a weird
Dwarvishness.
religion.
Dwarvishness.
Has been stripped from its body.
All right. I'm gonna Psychic Blades.
That is not a hit. I want it to be a hit, but it's not.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be my turn.
Luqas, Unless you've got some really weird-ass trick up your sleeve, there is no way you can kill it this turn. I'm sorry. And that's him looking through his character sheet to find a weird-ass trick.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that this should be a higher challenge rating than it really is, now that I'm looking through this whole thing more in depth, but I think you guys got this.
Yeah, we're just gonna hit it with a shaken flame. We're fucking two.
Haha!
Yep, I figured.
Our rolls
then
are really
I will-
sucky.
And then I will ready a bonus action healing word on somebody if they need it. Can I do that? Can you ready a bonus action?
I will allow it.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you technically can, but I will allow it.
Alright. I am going to ready a healing word just in case somebody needs it later on.
Alright. Euro.
That is me.
What are you going to do? Aside from cause problems.
I'm going to do what monks do. I'm going to avoid the trap, run past Luqas, and enter the room in this corner here.
Jesus, he's measuring. We're in trouble.
Actually, no, I got one more. But I'm gonna move up to here.
I'm gonna say you got like 40 feet you can run.
And then I'm going to two hands my quarterstaff and attack with it.
That is a hit. A solid strike upon the beast.
Going to use my extra attack and attack again.
That is also a hit. Damn near both extremes. Both
And
solid strikes.
then- As a bonus action, I'm going to spend a key point to make 2 unarmed strikes.
Gotta love flurry of blows. First one is a miss.
Ooh.
Second one is also a miss.
And that's the end of my turn.
Alright, so because both of you two could beat the snot out of this here, but because Caradoc hit first, and the blows that Eero did were not quite as effective as one would hope, the Bodak here will swing at Caradoc.
That hits. And I take all of that.
Because you are not raging at the moment.
Yet.
Um, and then the next thing, you all notice that he is attempting to do something, but it seems that he is struggling to actually have it occur, and the deep laughter booms throughout the entire place from the north.
Okay, he's attempting to do something.
And he cannot.
Oh, okay.
Whatever is binding him and slowing him down is making it so that he can't actually do whatever it is. And it seems like whatever is preventing him from doing it finds it hilarious.
Okay.
Caradoc, you're up.
For a bonus action, you will see Cleo later begin to glow with the ancients, with my ancestors, as I go into my rage. Reckless attack. It's a 14. Does that hit?
That is a miss.
I thought so.
Just barely.
Okay. And second attack is also a miss.
Yeah.
Damn it, my rolls today. Fucking suck.
Hey, just those rolls sucked. Keep in mind, you had 4 in a row of 18, 19.
Yeah. So yeah, that would be the end of my turn.
Strixx.
So Strixx. Oh.
That is a miss.
Some nice damage, though.
Yeah, it's amazing damage.
This damn thing is not easy to hit. You'd think it would be.
Yeah, that's gonna be my turn.
Luqas.
I'll guiding bolt it.
Yes, you will.
What do I have real quick? 2. Yeah, fuck it. We'll kick it up to level 3.
Jesus. Okay, we're not getting the crit damage because we didn't get an advantage. However,
Yeah.
that's still not a bad hit. That puts us to... You can tell that it is doing worse for wear. It is still standing.
Bonus action healing word on Caradoc.
That's fair.
Thank you, sir.
And that's it. And Euro, you have advantage on your first attack.
Sweet.
Speaking of Euro, if you can do the same thing you did before, this should wrap it up. But you can mix it up if you want.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and attack. Oh,
Oh,
Advantage did not help.
not at all.
extra attack.
That's looking better. Go ahead and roll me that damage. Solid strike on it.
And then I'll go just a single bonus action.
That is a hit. It is on its last legs, but still stands.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, but yeah, well, just carry on.
Yeah, that sort of misses.
I think it misses everybody.
Yeah. No matter who he was
Yeah,
hitting at.
I'm gonna swing and I'm gonna miss. Caradoc.
All right. Second verse, same as the first.
That is a hit.
All right.
And because you are raging, making that the magical ability it is, it takes full damage from those attacks. How would you like to finish it off?
I'm going to slice it in half, I think, from head to crotch.
As you do, you realize that is completely dried out husk. There is no blood or any liquid within it at all. And it drops, lifeless, well, more lifeless, undeadless, to the ground. Now you're in a room with 2 halves of a Bodak and a magical mirror-ish thing.
I'm going to tell the guys and Mirth, because I'm pretty sure she's in there with us, to not look directly into the mirror because I saw him looking into it. Something tells me that has something to do with what happened. Stay away from looking into the mirror.
What? But I want to look into it.
Well, if you want to look into it, you can do a perception. The mirror does not appear to be what caused his condition.
Does that mean I can look at it? Caradoc?
You're a grown cat. You can do what you wish.
That was Euro that asked.
Yeah, that was Euro that asked.
Oh, it was Euro.
Strixx is gonna look into it regardless.
I'm a man.
I'll take 10 minutes to recast Detect Magic.
You do
Alright.
notice that this mirror is indeed magical. In fact, it's rather powerful magic.
It is. I'll step into the room and tell everybody that is a very powerful magical artifact.
By the way, could everybody roll a perception for me? I will give you all advantage on this if you would like, because, well, you're all on high alert.
Sure, I'll take advantage.
Luqas doesn't want advantage.
I already claimed it.
Luqas, with that, could I get a history or religion check from you as well?
We're definitely going to go with religion.
Perfect. Got to love this one. This is going to be fun. So you hear that same ominous laughter echoing from the north. You recognize, or Luqas recognizes this as a very specific sound. Luqas has heard tales of this, and it is a diametric opposition to his god. It is the sound of a night walker. Good news is it doesn't sound like it's getting any closer yet. DM to players, this is another situation of you do not want to face this.
It does not sound like I want to.
Though Luqas would know that likely what happened to Kazim was because of this Nightwalker.
As I hear the laugh, I'm just going to mumble to myself, you can't be fucking serious. But loud enough to where everybody hears it.
Were we not supposed to find some way to get home from here? Isn't that why we came down?
That is.
Yeah. So, am I noticing anything in the mirror?
When you are simply looking at it, you notice that it's not giving you a reflection.
Strixx is a vampire.
It looks like the room you're in, but you don't see yourself or anyone in it.
We're all vampires.
Do I think it's a mirror or do I think it's another painting?
Give me an insight.
Okay.
It appears to be more mirrorish because it doesn't look like paint. And it seems as if there is glass panel in front of it. And as you change direction and angle, the room shifts. But no one's in it.
Across the room and tell him, touch it.
Oh, Strixx is already reaching towards it.
Yeah, give encouragement to the curious cat. And this is where we see Strix's hand boil off. No. Do you touch it?
One of my paws does, yes.
Give me a dexterity. Dexterity save.
Okay.
Oh, so close.
You feel the mirror starting to pull you in as your paw touches the glass. Do you allow it to, or do you stop it? Because with that
hearing
dexterity
that-
roll, you can save.
Hearing that laugh and getting his ass kicked, he's gonna allow it to.
Alright. You appear in the same spot that you were standing, only now, through the mirror, you see the rest of your party.
Do we see him?
You now all see Strixx on the other side of the mirror, the same as he was before.
Strixx just got trapped by the mirror.
I'm going in.
Does it seem like you're on the right plane? Can we talk to each other through the mirror?
You can talk, but you cannot actually hear anything. However, Strixx still has the psychic whispers that he put in earlier. You could telepathic communicate.
Oh, I was going to use sign language.
You're not supposed to flip Strixx off through the mirror.
Caradoc's already following. He's already going in.
I wanted to do the little kind of thing through the mirror.
I don't know that Strixx would put 2 and 2 together that I could psychically communicate.
Okay, that's fair.
Does anybody have a ball of yarn?
All mouth real loud in front of the mirror. Did you switch planes?
Strixx, you will notice that...
I'm just waiting for you guys to come through. I'm looking.
I've already
Like-
said 3 times
Yeah,
I'm going in.
Caradoc's jumping through. Hey, thanks for the lurk, Albsy. Appreciate it. Caradoc gets in, no problem. After seeing Strixx, he figured out how to do it super easy.
Can I tell if we're on the right plane?
Give me a perception. It's just gonna be 15.
Nope,
Oh.
17.
Man, you just ruined the streak. Jumping up by 3 instead of 1. Come on. With that, you notice that the chandelier in the center of the room is burning a bit brighter, while the room you left, and in the reflection, is noticeably darker.
What about my ring? Do I feel anything about my ring?
It feels as if you can shift back into werebear without any issues.
Oh, that's the first thing I'm gonna do when I realize that. I'm gonna shift into werebear form, and then I'm gonna beckon the others to come through.
Once seeing that, I'll jump through the mirror.
Mirth will follow as well.
The one most curious about it is the last one through. Or the one first curious about it.
Are you going to go through the mirror there, Euro?
I don't really want to, but everybody else did it.
You
That
can
peer
stay
pressure.
behind- You can stay behind and mess with the Nightwalker.
At least you didn't leave me alone.
Oh, we did.
I'm gonna close my eyes and run through the mirror.
Yeah, that's the big baddie. They tall boys.
Yeah, but look at the way his arm is outstretched. He looks like he's trying to give him a high five.
Yeah, that's not what you want from him.
No.
He's just misunderstood, guys.
See, that particular move that you see in there is what is known as the Finger of Doom. The Nightwalker will point at one creature it can see within 300 feet of it. The target must succeed on a difficulty check 21 Wisdom saving throw, or take 4d12 necrotic damage, become frightened until the end of the Nightwalker's next turn. While frightened in this way, the creature is also paralyzed. If the saving throw is successful, the target is immune to the Finger of Doom for the next day.
God damn.
That's what, a potential 48 damage?
Yeah. The average is a 26. It also has the Invenerating Focus for its main attack, which it can use twice. Which can hit for 5d8 plus 6, has a plus 12 to hit, has a 15-foot reach, and it must make a 21 Constitution saving throw, or its hit point maximum is reduced by amount equal to the necrotic damage taken.
Jesus.
So effectively, you're getting hit
Just-
twice. It's not a fun time. He also can Life Eat if a creature reduces 0 hit points from damage dealt by the Nightwalker dies and cannot be revived by any means short of a wish spell.
Oh, wow.
When it kills you, it kills you.
Strange
We'll
that
just
it
find it.
didn't. Strange that it didn't want us to, or that thing to do anything.
There's reasons.
Plot reasons.
Reasons that involve the person who sent you down here in the first place.
Strixx.
No, Strixx was just the one who got the information from the person who sent you down here. So now that you're all back on this side of the mirror, what do you do?
Break the mirror.
I say we just go upstairs. Go up to the top.
Would you like to try to break the mirror?
No, but I am going to turn it around to where the mirror's facing the wall.
Alright, go ahead and do that.
I want to check out that door.
Alright, so as Luqas is turning the mirror around, Euro, give me a perception on the door. Or investigation. Pretty solid perception. Alright, well, let's go with that. Okay.
That's cool.
Thank you for the raid there, Dunk. Appreciate it. Welcome, one and all. Alright, so you notice that the door appears to be solid on its hinges. It is locked. But it's a finely crafted door.
Strixx, this is your area of expertise.
What's wrong?
This door is locked. Make it not locked.
Make it not
Alright.
locked.
So Strixx is going to pull out his tools.
Let's see what happens. Well, not as impressive as the first time. You are able to get this door open without much difficulty.
Alright. I look at Euro, it's unlocked. I step aside.
Thank you, Strixx. Then I'm gonna go inside.
I'll follow.
Caradoc and Euro, give me a perception. As you're about to step in, both of you notice a tripwire in front of the doorway on the other side, as well as a tripwire in front of each of the entrances to this room. The room
I'm gonna
does
step over the tripwire and tell everybody else about it.
the room does have a wooden chest on the south wall, as well as a wooden chest on the east wall.
I'm gonna approach the chest on the south.
I'll look at the damn chest on the east. How do you want to do this?
How would you like to inspect this chest?
Exactly. Y'all know. You
I'm
know.
gonna poke it with my bird test.
Upon successful quarterstaff poking, you are confident that there are no traps with the chest itself. Do either of you look up?
With that question, yes.
If you do look up after noticing those tripwires, you will notice that there is a barbed net hanging across the ceiling of the room. You are easily able to trace the tripwires up to securing points. If you were to trip one of them, all of them would loose, having this net fall upon you. But none of the wires appear to be attached to the chests themselves.
I'm gonna open my chest.
How would you like to attempt to open the chest?
With my hands.
You will find it a bit difficult as the chest is locked.
Oh. Strixx!
Before that happens, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to suggest that we pack the fucking chests up and take them into the other room.
We can have Strixx disarm the traps.
Do you want him to try to disarm the trap while you are still in the room?
I have confidence in my cat friends.
I'm not going in there.
I was gonna say, I may not have that same confidence, regardless.
Yeah, I know what Caradoc wants to do, and that's just to pick the chest up and take it into the other room.
Give me a strength.
Lift with your legs, not with your back.
Wise advice, anytime.
No, it's lift with your back, not your legs.
I
Lift
prefer
with a
lifting with
twisting
somebody
grip.
else's legs and watch them do it.
There you go.
You
Okay,
easily
good.
pick up that chest. You do feel that as you pick it up, it is full. You hear the rumblings and shakings of coin and a few other objects within.
Okay. And assuming that it's easy for me to take it in to the other room, then
Yeah, you won't have any problem getting it into the other room. Unless you somehow trip over yourself and faceplant at a doorway. Not that I wouldn't put it past anybody, but I think you're capable enough of walking.
All right. That's what I'm going to do. Then I'm going to... Well, I've already dropped the bear form before I went into the room, so I'm going to... I just did that just so that I can stretch my legs, so to speak. So I'm going to poke my head in there and say, you know, do you want me to take that chest, bring that chest in here?
Would you like my help carrying it?
Aye, lad. So I'm going to carefully step over and take one end of the chest.
And with the two of you, I will not need a strength check because it'll be easy enough for the two of you to pick it up and bring it to wherever you want.
Alright, we're just gonna carry it into the other room. Put it side by side with the other one. Chest delivery.
Alright, how would you like to open said locked chests?
Strixx.
So I'll go over to Hero's chest. Did you say it was locked?
I just called for you.
I said it was locked.
I'm going to insight on whether I know what he means by calling me over.
Fair?
Alright, I have a fairly good suspicion that he's calling me over to unlock something.
That does seem to be the theme right now, so yes, I would agree.
Okay.
Unless you want me to rub your belly.
Okay,
Bite me for no reason.
get a room.
I got some tasty meow mix if you unlock it.
I'll give you some catnip.
You spend a few minutes trying to pick the lock of the first one, and you just don't seem to be getting anywhere.
Okay.
Good news, it doesn't seem like you broke the lock.
That's good.
Break the lock.
You punch the lock of the chest, and it doesn't do anything.
I look at the other chest. Do you want me to unlock this one as well?
What kind of lock does it have on it?
It has an internal lock, not a padlock.
Oh. Aye, lad. May as well.
So I look at this chest. Is this chest locked?
It is.
Alright.
God, wouldn't that be horrible? You gotta lockpick something and accidentally lock it. This one's even tougher for you. Good news, it's still not broken, but you're just not having any luck getting the chest open.
I'm not able to get these guys.
Do any of our spellcasters have guidance or anything?
I'll walk over to him and I'll be like, come on, you can do better than that. And I'll pat him on his back and bless him.
Alright, get to roll each lock with advantage.
Now he gets to add a d4.
You want to take my ruling on it?
Yeah, no shit.
Euro's chest opens up.
I knew you could do it, Strixx.
And Caradoc's chest opens in record time. Inside the chest, combined. Are you ready to write?
Yes.
I can get ready. Are you still doing it, Strixx?
Go ahead.
All right, I'm going to read this as fast as I possibly can. No, I'm not. That'd be rude.
No, don't do that.
What are the copies?
900 copper pieces. 11,000 silver. 1,700 gold pieces. 80 platinum pieces. A small bag of incense. A leather-bound talisman. A pair of painted glass dice. A fine cloth sash threaded with copper. A leather belt with an moss agate belt buckle. A iron longsword. A pewter-bound book that does not appear to have anything written upon its pages. A pewter armband. And a potion are within the chest.
Okay, I still have detect magic up. Anything magical?
You detect that this is a magical potion. Everything else seems mundane.
The blank book and the armband?
The blank book looks like it could have been a spell book, however it was never used, and the armband just appears to be a decorative pewter armband.
What does the talisman look like?
The talisman is a leather-corded necklace with a wire-wrapped... sorry, the name of the gem just left my brain. It is a crescent moon-shaped topaz, blue topaz.
I'm going to look at it, hand it over to Luqas, and say, do you know if this represents a god or anything?
Religion?
Religion, please. Okay, let me double check the gods of this particular area.
I divided all the coin by 4.
5.
Shit.
just gonna leave her out of it? Okay, I see how it goes.
Don't mind me. I like math for fun.
You get the feeling that this appears to be a simple representation of Selune from ages past. The goddess of the moon, which she currently is, but the look appears to be pre-First Sundering. So this has got some age to it.
I'll pass it back to Caradoc and be like, it's an old Selune medallion. Very old. People don't depict her like that no more.
Alright, I divided all the coin by 5.
What's that number?
Copper will be 180. Silver will be 220.
220 a piece at
Correct.
11,000.
Yeah, out of 11,000. You
Yeah.
mean 2,200 apiece?
220.
Add another zero.
Yeah,
Was that
220 times
11,000. Not 1,100. 11,000.
Okay, that's where I messed up.
Euro skimming a little off the top here.
Just a little.
So I like to do math for fun. That's what I do it.
Don't mind me, I'm a perfect accountant. Ignore the fact that I just took 100 times what I paid you all.
Yeah, even Strixx wasn't taking any taxes for dividing his find up earlier.
Alright, was the goal 1,700?
Yep.
That is correct.
Okay. That'll be 340.
Yep. And then 80 platinum.
And then the 80 platinum will be 16 apiece.
So Strixx is gonna check the door.
The door appears to be unlocked. And
I'm
open.
going. Okay. Do I see the trap on the ground?
You do.
Okay.
And
going
oddly
to-
enough, the mark that Luqas made, which don't know why I did it separate, but okay, is on the other side of the wall.
That's weird that his marks would be on the other side of the wall.
Well, if we're in a different plane, it's weird that it's here. It just in general period, ain't it?
Right, that's... How old do these marks look?
They look fresh.
Are we in the mirror dimension?
Insight! You believe you're in the material plane.
It's that whole belief part that.
It's like y'all don't trust me anymore.
Gee, I wonder why.
I love
so
it.
I'm going to avoid the trap.
From here, I thought you were going to purposely step on it.
That's why it's there.
I'm going to follow and purposely avoid the trap as well.
I'll bring up the rear.
You're going to trip it just to see if it would trip, aren't you?
Maybe.
Mirth walks through the hall and accidentally misses the trap.
Yeah, I'm gonna step on it.
I just wanted something other than purposely, you know?
Do I happen to be on the ceiling because of the inverted?
Only if you want to be. You do have those spider boots.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna start walking on the ceiling. Just cause.
I would if I could.
So is this door open as well?
That door is.
Have we heard the laughter since we've been over here?
You have not.
Okay.
In fact, this entire ruin has been suspiciously quiet. When you do trigger the trap, you will notice that the wall that's slammed comes from the other direction.
Okay, so like instead of coming from down here, it came from up here.
Yes.
Okay. I'll catch up with everybody else. It still works.
I imagine this door is open as well.
It is.
Is there a dais in the corner over here?
There is. It looks exactly the same, except all the runes that you saw previous are inverted. It's actually easier to read now.
Going to come over and try and make sense of it.
Give me an investigation. It doesn't make any more sense than previous. The best you can figure out is the protections. Though it is. Things look to be easier to read. What they were trying to do does not seem to be making any sense.
Okay. Is this still rotting bread?
No, it's just stale bread.
Yum.
A baguette so hard you could probably use as a club. I wouldn't recommend it.
By the way, Caradoc decided that he's going to wear the Selene moon around his neck. Just because it's cool.
You notice that it feels like a leather necklace.
Cool beans.
So I enter this room. Is there a cage that might have dropped over a table?
Yes.
I hope nobody was in these ruins when we were in the other plane. Would have been pretty scary.
Do you look
Is
for
there-
anything else in this room?
Is there anything on the table?
Still a blank piece of parchment.
I'm going to go in here and look at the wall that had the mosaic on the other plane.
You see a very similar mosaic, although it does seem to shine brighter than previous.
I'm going to walk over here, and because I know what he looks like, I'm going to say out loud, "Where is Elrond? How's he doing?"
Give me an arcana.
Just shut. Okay, here we go.
The mosaic shimmers and flashes, but you get no response.
Okay.
Strixx is curious on what the outside looks like, so I'm gonna start.
Sure you're not looking for anything else in here that was here in the other side?
I think he wanted to look at the.
Yeah, I guess I'll take a look for that chest again.
Give me a perception.
All right.
Because you kind of know where you're looking for, you do see the chest. And this one still appears to be closed, but in the exact same spot as you found it before.
Do we open this one as well, guys?
Why not?
Open it.
Open it. Open it.
I'm gonna grab hold of it. And pull it out.
Okay.
Nothing happens.
Nothing happens. Not as you're pulling it out.
Not yet.
Alright. Knowing the other one was unlocked, I will try and open it.
This one also opens easily. Inside of the chest, you see $800 copper pieces, 9,000 silver pieces, 2,000 gold pieces, and 140 platinum. All of the other items that were in the other chest appear to not be in this one.
Okay.
Re-say those numbers. I got 140 platinum.
I put them in the chat.
Except
Okay.
the 2,000 SP is supposed to be 2,000 GP.
Oh yeah, sorry.
One of y'all can try the math this time.
I'll do it.
After being called out for his attempts at embezzling last time, Muro was shy to actually divvy up the money.
Okay, 160 copper pieces, 1,800 silver pieces, 400 gold pieces, and 28 platinum pieces.
Alright. With that divided up once again, I'm going to continue exiting.
Yeah, I'm following.
What do I see in this room?
It seems to be a similar gathering hall as before. The doors leading off to the north are opened as well. But again, not a whole lot of pomp and or circumstance.
Alright. I'm gonna head outside.
I follow.
I will follow him.
I'll try to find where I
Almost
put
wherever
the
he
city.
wanted to go.
Found it! So you come up from the ruins of Ilisk. It is midday. The sun is shining brightly in the sky above. Everything seems brighter. The people are lively and going about their days. Even the most sullen person looks to be a beacon of cheer and hope in comparison to the dark plane that you were just from. By all outward appearances, you have successfully escaped the Shadowfell.
Yay, us.
Thank you.
Yay! Now we look for the mayor, because he's supposed to be here Right.
That's
Yeah,
where you believed.
I suggest we take a break. It's been 2 hours.
Yep.
I'm in favor.
I'm gonna have to take off here shortly.
Well, in that case, if you're gonna take off here in a few, this will be a fine time to break for the day. And let me check one more thing before we all do.
How big is this city we're in?
It is the second largest city in the north.
So
Neverwinter being the largest.
So say if we're got some downtime in here, do you think there's a possibility of me finding a tattoo artist?
Would not be a problem at all.
Alrighty.
And go ahead and in between now and into the next week, level your characters up to level 6.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
The success of escaping the Baelor and coming out of the Shadowfell alive, you have gained enough experience to be level 6 adventurers. Use that power foolishly. Until next time, we will see you all at the next event and next week.
Nice.
Yes.
See y'all then, huh?
Later.
Now, for those of you who are actually in the stream, we are going to find somebody to raid, and I think I have a perfect candidate.